What is happening today, guys? I'm pretty excited today because we are actually working on the silvia again. And not only are we working on the silvia, but for me, what we're doing today is going to be pretty big. Ever since I was like about 12, 13 years old, I've wanted a drift car. Ever since I was introduced to drifting by going to a D1 event. When I finally got the silvia, it was an awesome feeling knowing that I had a drift car, just needed to be built. So sitting in it was obviously an awesome feeling. So what we're doing today, putting the bucket seat in, which means I'm actually gonna be able to sit in this car, in the bucket seat, with the cage, everything inside painted. So it's gonna be awesome. As you saw in the last video, cleaned out the shop, rearranged everything, and I, for the life of me, can't understand why we haven't had this layout from the beginning. Having two cars here that aren't getting worked on side to side, obviously at the back here, just makes so much more sense because the amount of room that we have to work on a car up front is just crazy. And it's going to be awesome once we get the workbench built along here. So I haven't showed it on camera yet, but a while ago I picked up pretty much a brand new NZKW seat off a mate of mine. Picked it up off my mate Jonty. You guys would have seen him when we went to Kaikoura. So he had the seat lying around, didn't really have much use for it, so he gave me a really fucking good deal on it. So again, shout out to Jonty. But here it is. So it's got a bit of fluff and dirt and shit on it, but this seat is pretty much brand new and is perfect for what I want. Jonty didn't have any of the seat brackets, so I went onto NZKW's website and got some driver side ones. Still need to get a bucket seat and obviously brackets for the passenger, but right now, obviously drivers is more important, and then once the rest of the car's finished, I'll spend the money and get a passenger side setup sorted. So these came a couple weeks ago, haven't opened it, wanted to save it to open it on camera. I know a few people like seeing packages and stuff open, so we'll open this up and get to work. All right, so this is gonna be a bit interesting doing this one hand, but oh well. Right, so here you can see we've got the brackets. So these are the super low mounts for the S14, S15, pretty much any Nissan chassis really. But these are basically designed so you can get the seat sitting as far down as possible without having to cut this out. I'm not entirely sure how these things go. I know this goes on this side like this, and then obviously this goes on this side. These attach to the seat, which then attach to this. I'm not entirely sure how these are mounted on the seat, so it's gonna take some trial and error to figure it out, see what works and what doesn't. So I've got these brackets in. I guess these would be the seat rails, but there's no actual rails for this. It's gonna be a fixed position. So got these sitting here. Was a little bit worried about this one, because as soon as I put the bolt in, it was pretty tight, but just went and greased up the bolt and then just tightened it, loosened it, tightened it, loosened it, and sort of just cleaned all the threads up on the inside, and luckily we're good. Don't have to use a tap and die set on that. Got these ones mounted on the side here, and just about to chuck the seat in, see how it looks and make some adjustments, and then I'll go from there. So I've got that sitting in there, sort of like that. It roughly seems how it's going to be. It seems like it's sitting probably maybe a tad too high. Noisy neighbours and a rotary RX2. Okay, so had the seat in, and it was completely off-centered, and it feels like it needs to go a lot lower. I'm struggling with this. So I'm not sure if the brackets are supposed to be identical, or if I've been sent the brackets for the same side, because to me it feels like these holes should be on that side and these should be on that side. So when they're on the seat, the holes are both at the back and the lines are both at the front, or the other way around. But with this, it's sort of back to front. So it doesn't really makes sense to me. And these must be for something else, because I've tried like doing them and they don't, obviously they then don't line up with the with these brackets here. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever worked with these before. I maybe just be doing it wrong. I feel like some instructions wouldn't be good, but they didn't come with the brackets. Potentially came with the seat, but obviously since I didn't buy it brand new, I only got the seat. Right, so I'm not sure if it's just me or I do have the wrong brackets, but I've been playing around for ages, trying to figure it out, and I've got the seat somewhat sitting where I want it to, but it just doesn't look right, I guess. To me, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but to me, it seems like it's on just a weird angle. But I mean, it feels like it's fine, and everything seems to line up. I don't have a bolt in that one yet, but it seems like everything sort of lines up. It feels good, it just doesn't quite look right, so I don't know, maybe it's just me, but tell you what, this roll cage makes things a little bit interesting getting the bolt sometimes. I mean, that bolt's not hard to get to with this cage here, but it's definitely an added obstacle. And obviously with regular seats, they can slide forward and back with these since they're fixed. It definitely adds another challenge, but yeah, seats in. Just gonna go through now, take these bolts out one by one and put the washers on, and then add this one, tighten it all up, do the final check. We'll see how it feels. All right, so for now, I've got the seat in the position that I want it to be in. I still don't think it's quite correct. I still feel like maybe I've got sent the same brackets, and I need obviously one that goes on one side and one that goes on the other. Maybe I just haven't adjusted it right. But yeah, if you guys know, drop a comment below and tell me what I'm doing wrong. But for now, it does seem like it's gonna work. So sitting here, it feels good. Where my feet are in conjunction with the pedals feels good. If I've got my clutch pedal foot all the way out, my leg's still got a slight bend in it, and same with my accelerator leg. Where the handbrake is, feels pretty good, although we are potentially still moving this handbrake to here, so might have it just here, but even if it stays where it is for now, it's still good. Gear shift is good, and I'm not going to be running the steering wheel, but sort of where the steering wheel is, I've got a good bend in my arm, although we might have a dished one that'll bring it even closer and probably have a quick release, because it's probably not going to be too easy to get out. Just going to chuck this wheel on and see how it is getting out of here. So I've got the steering wheel on now, and now that the steering wheel's in, I have realized that the seat is actually not centered, it's more on this side. So if you look at sort of where the where the center is, you straighten the wheel up, so that's how it should be. You can see that it's quite off to the side, and now that the steering wheel is in, I can actually feel that. But the problem is, this bracket here is hitting this, so it can't actually go any more further over without obviously either grinding into this or grinding into that. Most likely I'm going to have to take this bracket off and grind a little bit of that out so we can move it over a little bit. Unfortunately, I've run out of time today. I've got some other things that I've got to go and do. But next weekend I'll come back and we'll finish off doing the seat, make sure it's in the perfect position that I want it to, and I'm also going to try putting the dash in. Obviously, since we've got a cage now, I'm going to have to cut into the dash to make it fit around this. Me and Mace are also going to be parting out that Safiro, so if any of you guys have Safiros and you're needing parts, hit me up. Every single thing on that car is pretty much for sale, so hit me up with what you want and a price. I don't really have a price in mind for anything. But anyway, cheers for watching. It's good to finally be able to do something, even if I didn't even really get to finish what I wanted to do today. But yeah, first time working on the car in, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks since I had that surgery. So definitely feels good to get back into it. So yeah, cheers for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week. Right, quick little update, and I'm pretty fucked off. Found out that I did get sent two of the same bracket, pretty much. So basically, it has a slits at one side and like little holes at the other. Basically, the slits are supposed to go at the front of the seat, and the holes are supposed to be at the rear. So yeah, they've sent me 2 brackets for the same side, which is an absolute pain in the ass. This is the second thing that NZKW have done now. So when I ordered the brackets originally in the first place, about a week went by and I'd heard nothing from them. No package had shown up, and obviously no email saying that it had been sent. So I emailed them asking what was going on, and I got a reply saying that they'd ran out. So they didn't even let me know that they'd run out. They just said nothing. So when they finally did get here, which they got here about a month ago, I've been hanging on to them so I could open them for you guys. I go to open them and they're the wrong brackets. So I sent them an email yesterday, which was Sunday, and obviously it's Monday today. They've had a whole day, all of today, and I've heard no email from them.